Welcome back to the channel. So a little story for you, a couple of little stories for you. If you've watched my previous videos, especially my recent ones, you'll know I've been speaking about how the people, we the people, are sovereign. Sovereign means the ultimate authority. There is no higher authority. The sovereign decrees the law. So, let me tell you why we have courts. Let's say you have a king, and he's sitting at his big long table, and he looks out the window, and he sees some guy stealing his apples. So he orders one of his guards to apprehend the guy and throw him in the dungeon. Right? He's the king, stealing his apples. But let's say, because we're all sovereigns, okay? The king is a sovereign. Let's say that guy out there is a sovereign, if we're speaking about us, okay? It can work both ways. He throws the guy in the dungeon, or let's say you throw the guy in your dungeon, right? And let's say there's visiting day as far as, the king. Or let's say, somebody is able to, get a hold of the guy that you're holding, or the person that you're holding. And they say, hey, I was wronged, I didn't do it. And as far as the king's concerned, let's say the brother visits the guy that stole the apples from the king. And he says, listen, I'll take care of you, bro. He goes, I'm the head cook. And the next day you've got a dead king. So that's why we have courts. Let's say instead of the king throwing this man in the dungeon just, indefinitely, let's say instead he does that, instead of doing that, he puts him in incarceration temporarily until trial. At the trial, the other sovereign, has the right to put on his show. If the evidence at the end of the day shows that he is guilty, now if he goes to plead his story that he was wronged, everybody can say that was in the court can say, hey man, you went looking for trouble and you found it. I saw the evidence. And so this way the king lives to see another day. And so that's where you have that's how you avoid hidden resistance. That's why we have courts. So here's my second story. This is I'm going to give you an example of how you can have a driver's license, have a social security card, have a birth certificate, a state birth certificate, which you should not have any of these things. You should exit these contracts. However, it's okay if you don't. It really is okay, because you can still have these things and still be a sovereign. You can still maintain your sovereignty. So I'm going to tell you another story. This is a true story. Okay, this happened in this country. There was a Indian tribe that made a deal with this mining corporation, right? To mine the land of the Native Americans. Sorry, Indians, Native Americans. It's just a label. The people. So they're, moving along. They're mining. They're giving the Native Americans, the tribe, the agreed upon amount. Everything's fine. Then all of a sudden, the tribe gets together and says, we should charge a fee. We should charge a tax, a depletion fee, because they're depleting our land. And so they send the request, the claim, and to the mining corporation. The mining corporation says, hey, whoa, you agreed upon this. We've got a contract. You're just trying to cut yourself more of a share. Well, this went all the way to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court said, too bad, they can tax you. Why? Because they're sovereign. A sovereign can tax. A sovereign has the right to tax. And this was the nomenclature of the decision and I'm sure I'm paraphrasing somewhat. It is one thing to find that the tribe has agreed to sell the right to use the land and take valuable minerals from it, and quite another that the tribe has abandoned its sovereign powers simply because it has not expressly reserved them through a contract. Did you get that? Did you get that? It's one thing to find that the tribe has agreed to sell the right to use the land and take the valuable minerals from it, and quite another that the tribe has abandoned its sovereign powers simply because it has not expressly reserved them through a contract. That's a Supreme Court decision. The Supreme Court is charged with the duty of adjudicating the Constitution. You know, what most people don't realize is that if someone is wronging you, whether it's a government, a corporation, another person, or anybody, a court, a plaintiff, a complainant, a plaintiff, nobody other than you is going to look it up and find out where you were wronged and how you can get remedy. And nor is it their responsibility. It is your responsibility. Two people could go in on the same charge. One could go free and have his expenses paid. The other can go to jail and pay fines. Same exact charge. Same exact situation. Why? Because one man or one woman was a sovereign and was one of the people, which means they took the time to learn what that means. Otherwise, they're not a sovereign and they're not one of the people, quote unquote. The other did not. The other thought, hey, there's no way I'm going to get wronged. I know what's right. If you don't know how to communicate what's right, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't work that way. So I hope that was helpful for you. I've tried to make this one short. I'll see you guys soon.